Good evening. David Cameron has warned that installing a new team at the failed bank RBS could be more expensive than it is now as the furore of Stephen Hester's bonus continued. But the Prime Minister insisted it was up to the Chief Executive to decide whether to give up his £1 million bonus. It is a matter for him, he said. It's obviously his decision. My decision is to make sure the team at RBS get on with the job of turning the bank round, and we are made our views very clear on the bonus, and that's why it was cut in half compared to last year. Mr. Cameron was speaking to Chequers as news emerged that RBS chairman Sir Philip Hampton had decided to waive his 1.4 million shares bonus. Mr. Cameron added, the government has made its views known, and that is why his bonus was cut in half compared to last year. But we do have to bear in mind that the alternatives to what's happening now could be even more expensive if you had a whole new team coming into RBS. 5 people have been arrested over payments to police officers in the phone hacking inquiry. A serving police officer and 4 current and former employees of the Sun newspaper are being questioned by detectives. They were arrested under Operation Elevden, which runs alongside Operation Weeting Hacking Inquiry. The 29-year-old male officer was arrested on suspicion of corruption, misconduct in a public office, and conspiracy in relation to the offences. Police are searching the offices of News International in Wapping, East London, and the home addresses of the suspects. A Scotland Yard spokesman said, "Today's operation is the result of information provided to police by News Corporation's Management and Standards Committee. It relates to suspected payments to the police officers, and it is not about seeking journalists to reveal confidential sources in relation to information that has been obtained legitimately." The United Nations Security Council has begun closed-door negotiations on a new Arab-European draft resolution aimed at resolving the crisis in Syria. Russia's envoy says he cannot back the current language as it stands. Germany's UN ambassador Peter Wittig confirmed that Russia wants no arms embargo, no sanctions, and no regime change in Syria. The UN says at least 5,400 people have been killed in a months-long Syrian government crackdown on civilian protests. Meanwhile, amateur footage has emerged showing gunfire and heavy shelling in the Syrian city of Hama. Activists in the city reported that the Hama al-Diya district had been under attack since dawn on Friday, with a military campaign underway. The violence in Hama follows reports of Syrian troops storming the flashpoint Damascus suburb of Douma on Thursday. Syrian Foreign Minister Walid al-Muallim said this week that his government will continue with the security solution to end the crisis. International pressure on Damascus to end the bloodshed so far has produced few results. David Cameron says there will be opportunities in all countries for early troop withdrawal from Afghanistan. Speaking after bilateral talks at Chequers with Afghan President Hamid Karzai, the Prime Minister reaffirmed his desire for there not to be a cliff edge in 2014 when combat forces are due to exit. But in an apparent swipe at French President Nicolas Sarkozy, who has announced early French troop withdrawal, he said decision should be based on Afghan progress in all NATO states. Mr. Cameron said, obviously, between now and 2014 there will be opportunities for different countries to reduce their troop numbers. Britain has reduced our troop numbers over the last year. I don't want to see some sort of cliff edge in 2014 when all of the remaining troops come out at once, but clearly between now and 2014 the rate at which we can reduce our troops will depend on the transition to Afghan control in the different parts of Afghanistan, and that should be the same for all of the members of NATO who are all contributing and helping to a strong, stable and peaceful Afghanistan, which is in all our interests. The chairman of the taxpayer-funded Royal Bank of Scotland will not receive a shares bonus worth £1.4 million, the bank has confirmed. Sir Philip Hampton's decision comes days after RBS Chief Executive Stephen Hester came under fire over £9,663 bonus awarded to him. An RBS spokesman said Sir Philip Hampton will not receive the 5.17 million shares he was awarded in 2009 when he joined RBS. The Chancellor George Osborne has defended the big bonus given to Stephen Hester, saying it could not have been worse and was a lot less than other bank bosses would get. London's Conservative Mayor Boris Johnson called it bewildering, while Labour leader Ed Miliband said it showed a disgraceful failure of leadership by the Prime Minister. A prisoner who went on the run after being sprung from the clutches of prison officers as they escorted him to hospital has been arrested. Andrew Founden has been at the centre of a nationwide manhunt since an armed accomplice helped him escape custody outside West Suffolk Hospital in Bury St Edmunds, Suffolk, on Wednesday evening. Suffolk Police have confirmed the 26-year-old, who is serving an indeterminate sentence for public protection, was in custody after being detained by officers from another force area. Founden's arrest came as his mother made a public appeal urging him to contact police. Asking her son to hand himself in, Kate Founden said, "Hi Andy love, it's Mum. I would like to know that you're okay. I would like to know how your wound is. If it's serious, if you need medical attention. But most of all, sweetheart, I would like you to hand yourself in. This just isn't going to help anything. Please, please love, hand yourself in." His escape was the second in just a week, after an extremely dangerous Category A prisoner, murder suspect John Anslow, was sprung from a prison van after it left Haywell Prison in Worcestershire. He remains at large. Salvage workers in Italy are preparing to extract fuel from the stricken cruise liner Costa Concordia. It is now 2 weeks since the ship struck a reef off Giglio Island. Pumping fuel out hinges upon the completion of rescue operations and inspections. So far, the crews have enjoyed good weather and have been able to inspect the ship underwater. But divers fear a stronger tide on a windy day could push the Concordia into deep water. Divers are continuing their search for missing passengers. So far, 16 have been found dead, with 16 others unaccounted for and presumed dead. The emergency call made before actress Demi Moore was rushed to hospital has been released. According to the tape from the Los Angeles Fire Department, the actress suffered convulsions and seemed only semi-conscious after smoking an undisclosed substance. She smoked something. It's not marijuana, but it is something similar to incense. She seems to be having convulsions of some sort, a female friend of the Star told emergency services when calling for an ambulance on Monday. She has been having some issues. I don't know what she has been taking, another woman told the ambulance dispatcher. The 49-year-old was also described as burning up, unable to speak, and semi-conscious before help arrived at her Beverly Hills mansion. The Star filed for divorce from husband Ashton Kutcher in November after the 33-year-old had a widely publicised affair. Her gaunt appearance in recent photos has raised alarm bells. In sport, and Dirk's late strike earned Liverpool a dramatic victory over Manchester United in the FA Cup this afternoon, fourth round at Anfield, making the final score Liverpool 2, Manchester United 1. Juan Mata's controversial second-half penalty earned Chelsea victory over West London rivals QPR and sent them into the fifth round of the FA Cup. Final score here was QPR 0, Chelsea 1. In other matches, Blackpool drew to Sheffield Wednesday, Bolton won 2-1 to Swansea, Derby lost to Stoke, Millwall drew Southampton, and Sheffield United lost to Birmingham 4-0. And finally, 2 Canadian teenagers have launched a Lego man into space and have the pictures to prove it. Matthew Ho approached his friend Asad Muhammad with a plan to use a weather balloon to carry a camera high above the clouds. The pair of 17-year-olds designed a capsule that would carry 4 cameras and their Lego man mascot into space after reading about similar projects elsewhere. We actually made a capsule with a parachute, and we used a 12-foot weather balloon and sent this capsule over 80,000 feet into the stratosphere, Matthew explained. Using cheap cameras and a parachute, which they sewed themselves, they created a capsule made of styrofoam that included a GPS-equipped cell phone that would help them find their creation when it fell back to Earth. The eye-catching images captured from the flight show the Lego man gripping a Canadian flag against a backdrop of a fast-shrinking skyline that gives away to the darkness of space. And that's it. The weather forecast is next. It's a cold one, so take care and enjoy what's left of your evening. Bye-bye. Good evening. Yes, as I mentioned earlier, it will continue to grow much colder over the coming days and into next week, with rain, sleet or snow showers possible at times. The Met Office have already issued warnings over the weekend for tonight and tomorrow for snow over parts of northwest England, Wales and southwestern parts. Please be aware of this. So for tonight it will continue to draw very cold across the country, with temperatures at or below freezing, with some showers in places. Tomorrow there'll be a band of rain coming in from the west, and this may cause, it's still uncertain, but it may cause quite some widespread snow across the Midlands, northwest England and the southwestern parts. Please take care, and we will run a rolling bulletin if need be. Good night.